Hi guys, I am Dr. Anne and this is the Health Hub. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be breaking up this video into two parts, honey. So today we'll be talking about medicine. I'll be going through the non-clinical side of medicine and I'll be going through the clinical side of medicine in my second video. This is also a well-requested topic where people actually really want to know, like, what if I don't want to work at a hospital and but I still want to do medicine. So today I'll be answering those questions, or I'll be giving you your options of the different non-clinical things that you can do with your medical degree. Basically, if you are a person who's not really into like touching patients, seeing blood and things like that, you have to basically have the balls to suck it up for 2 years internship, 1 year ComServe, because those are mandatory and there's basic things that I expected from you as a doctor to do. So if you are a person that's not really into that you eventually want to branch onto the non-clinical side of medicine. So today I'll be listing the different type of careers that you will have to look into with your medical degree, hoping to be in a rather non-clinical field. Okay, so basically it is understandable that clinical work is not for everyone. Not everyone likes to operate on people. Not everyone likes to work at a hospital. So in terms of a non-clinical career, the other thing is that you don't really have to be on call. You get holidays off. So some people prefer not having to work in hospitals, and they also prefer having a better quality of life in terms of days off, holidays off, spending time with their family, and just essentially not having to do things like night shifts or calls, and being basically normal working individuals. So the first career we're looking into is being a medical sales rep. People who are in this field normally will join a company, be it pharmaceutical, be it a company that sells medical equipment, and basically they join this career and use their medical background to try to sell products to doctors. So this is, I guess, perfect for people who are good speakers, who are good at selling things, or have a marketing spirit, but don't actually want to work at a hospital, so they can incorporate their medical knowledge and also get to sell stuff for big companies. What this career entails is you selling products and doing presentations at hospitals. To be a medical sales rep, you don't need a medical degree, but if you have a medical degree, I guess you stand a better chance. Most of these people will come to public hospitals to present some of the products that the companies are making. Some of these people will go to private doctors or orthos or whatnot to present their medical equipment that is provided by the company that they're working for. The issue with this is that the pay might not be as much, but the job is pretty much flexible. The second thing that you can look into doing is being a course trainer. So you can join either an organization that is already existing, and basically what you do is give courses, be it life support, basic life support, or ACLS courses or MLS courses to medical doctors. Of course, you have to have done these and be up to date with your ACLS and BLS, whatever courses that you'll be tutoring. So the nice thing about it is that it's also flexible, but it's more of a side hustle, because obviously there's only certain dates that these courses are made available. Normally these courses run for like a day, 3 days. So I don't know how lucrative it is in terms of you doing that as your main job, but I know definitely as a side hustle or a side gig, it should be a good and well-paying job. So number 3, the third career to look into if you are wanting to branch into non-clinical work is medical writing and journalism. With regard to that, you have to have at least some sort of a small course or writer's course, just so you polish up on those skills and are more equipped as a person. So people who are into this are people who like writing, like blogging. They go into that as a career. So some people already and do this as a side hustle. If you are into medical writing, you can also write for a website and make the coin. You into things of, especially a creative space like presenting and things like that. Some people end up having their own television shows, make money off of that, and you can also end up having your own segment on a radio show. So those are some of the things that people are going to. Some will go into YouTube, but I think it's mainly when you're already big of a star, then it's like worth you not having a main job as like a doctor, a medical doctor. But I think when you're starting out, it's not enough money to sort of sustain you. But once you're well established, especially in this field of like broadcasting, entertainment, media, and then at least it makes enough money to sustain you as a main hustle, like a main job. Let's move on to number 4 and go into corporate. So then you work for medical aid companies. You can also work for pharmaceutical companies as a medical advisor. So this pays well. I think the salary is a bit less compared to a person who is making money off of regular work and overtime in like a public sector, for example. It's a bit less, but there are like benefits. You don't work on weekends, you don't do calls, so you basically have to weigh your pros and your cons. If you're someone who wants to be free on holidays, and also just have a regular 9 to 5 job, and 9 to 5 job, because these people get paid quite a lot, but it's still slightly less than what overtime compensates for someone who's actually working in clinic or doing clinical work. But some of these jobs can have benefits and like medical aid, blah blah blah, and cover that gap. So being a medical advisor is something that is worthwhile to consider. So let's move on to number 5. Number 5, be a lecturer. And it's a noble career. If you are someone, I know a lot, like even in medical school, there were people who were just into academia like that. They would teach the other kids in class like stuff, like people who are naturally teachers. And some of these people go on to academia, and to become a lecturer, especially if you have a medical background, you have to have specialize in something. It's better if you specialize in something like pathology, or I don't know, anatomy or something. You have to have been a specialist in something for you to actually dominate that space. So you can't be just a regular MPCHP or MPCH. Like, you have to have something on top of it, and specialize in a specific field for you to be able to lecture medical students in that field. So your 6th option is basically medical research. You work for institutions or NGOs that are linked maybe to universities, for example the HIV ones and whatnot, and you are paid to do research. In a sense, this is so good because in a way you are gaining experience, and almost like you writing papers, publishing papers, getting experience in that field. This is quite good for people who are scientific people and people who are into writing and the science of medicine and things like that, and research. So you will get paid for doing this. You get to travel, you get to, you establish yourself in a certain field of research. Most people go into this after ComServe, and so other institutions can even absorb you during ComServe and pay you your ComServe salary, maybe just a bit less over time. So that is that in terms of medical research and going into research and writing research papers. So number 7 is particularly for people who are into business, who are they're like entrepreneurs, but they found themselves in the medical field now, or they just also love medicine at the same time. So if you're into that, you can do an MBA. So you go on to do an MBA, and then apply for jobs and work for companies that produce medical equipment. You can start your own thing. Whatever it is that you start doesn't even have to be medical related. It could be literally anything, any company about anything. It doesn't have to be medical based type company. So number 8 is that you can join an NGO, and NGOs are basically non-governmental organizations, to be a doctor working in that specific field. So this, however, is quite broad because it depends what the NGO is about, what they do, and etc. So there's NGOs that focus on HIV, and they will employ doctors. And these ones, they'll expect you to have an HIV diploma, you have knowledge regarding the whole, basically what the NGO stands for. They will expect you to do some research work. Sometimes they do presentations for doctors in hospitals and clinics, etc. So that's also something to look into. And the nice thing is the free time. Also, you get holidays off. It's really nice time, nice life. Okay, moving on to number 9, you can, especially if you are someone who is into things of law, being a medical legal advisor. And this is particularly for people who are into law or have that background. And basically medical legal advisors either work for like insurance companies that stand up for doctors, or trade unions or whatnot, and they use their background of law to try to stand up for doctors, be it for medical legal cases that they may have, or whenever doctors need representation, they are there to provide such services. So with your MBBCH degree, you have to have something on top of it, be it or a diploma in law and ethics, so that you are able to, you know, supplement your medical degree, so that you're able to represent medical doctors or like healthcare professionals as a whole. So this career is also rewarding. I feel it just pays as much, if not more. The nice thing is that you have free time. The 10th thing that or career that one can look into that's non-clinical is being a manager or hospital manager. So this is particularly good for people who are into things of running things, being bosses, managers, blah blah blah. So there's people who just have that thing about them where they're able to run things and they know how things are run and they're able to lead. You can go into being, you know, in management in terms of the hospital. You can literally go into, you know, public health. So basically the requirements for one wanting to do this is that you have to have at least maybe a diploma or master's in public health on top of your medical degree. And then after that, you are able to then apply for such job and work your way up from being maybe a clinical manager and, you know, who manages doctors in a hospital, and then eventually maybe a CEO of a hospital. And this is also quite political, especially in our country, especially with government. And if you are someone who is able to, or who has that mind, it's even better, because you'd have to understand how structures run and how government works and the whole setups, and eventually you could even work your way up to being things of ministers. So it's quite broad, and the nice thing about it is that you can take it as far as you want. But this work is mainly, it's a lot of meetings and just managing people, managing funds. That is that. I don't know if I missed anything. I think I covered most things. I think the only thing I didn't mention, I guess, was if you are more of an IT tech or IT based person, you can create medical apps and things like that, or like medical type websites and build such if you are a coder at heart. With the free time, with, you know, you can travel, it's basically having a normal job, which is unfortunately something that our career doesn't grant us. So you can also literally add it as a side job and be clinical, but have a non-clinical side job to supplement your salary to make more money, in terms of multiple streams of income. So yeah, I hope you learned something, and I hope in case you are someone who's not really into working to hospital, you at least found a category that you may or may not fall into. Do stay tuned for part 2 of this series, where I go into the clinical side of medicine, and touch on some of the other things that you may or may not know about the clinical side of the medical career. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you share.